Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of Embrace the Face. This is Allie Anderson and Kathy Kwiatkowski here. We are on episode number 3. We are talking all things past life regression, life between lives, and quantum healing. Kathy, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So still in the same clothes, still the same way. We're moving on. Okay. So this one's going to be fun. So Kathy and I are both Reiki healers, Reiki practitioners. We both are meditators and do breath work. So today we are going to talk about the energy aspect. Do you need to do energy healing? Do you need to do energy healing by itself? Do you need to do energy healing incorporating all of these practices? And we are going to answer hopefully any questions that you may have. So Kathy, let's get started with talking about just how you utilize energy healing practices and just your intuitive insights, please.
Okay. Well, so in thinking about energy work, and we just had that conversation about the logical mind in the other episode. So first thing about energy work is it's going to get you out of your head. It gets you more in your body. I had told the story in the first episode about seeing just my bobbing head going along as I went to that training. Yeah, I really, really was all in my head. Um, and it's interesting as astrologically, when I found out I have double Earth, which I should be really grounded,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, but
Kathy has your sun and moon in Taurus and your Mercury.
yeah.
Something else. So yeah.
But I really wasn't in touch with my body because it wasn't safe emotionally. So our emotions are stored in our body. Um, and because I had learned to avoid that, yeah, that's super interesting to think about. So, anyway, get you out of your head, slows the mind, and calms the nervous system. So, as a trauma specialist, I first started really working with the body with helping people to regulate their nervous system. For those who are aware of like polyvagal theory and how to slow the sympathetic nervous system down, I found that so fascinating because I've always run hot, is
Mhm.
how I would put it. Like I like to say, I have a stitch of the ADHD. Never formally diagnosed, and I'm super functional, but I really didn't realize how much I was teetering on the upper end of my ventral vagal state until I started studying that. So, any kind of body work, if you tend to run more on the side of being anxious, irritable, fidgety, edgy, worrier, if you consider yourself a worrier, these are all signs of upregulation. And so doing the body work really brings that down so that, when your system is regulated, you can have calm connectedness with other people,
Mm.
which um, helps you to disengage that fight flight looking for what's the next dangerous thing. So in my trauma training to work with people, it was on that level, how the nervous system works. And then I overlapped that with what I was learning in Reiki and experiencing in Reiki as I got my attunements,
Mm.
because that definitely changes your system. And and then I started noticing, well, and this is just true for everybody in general, when your system is more regulated, your thoughts are going to shift, your emotions are going to shift. And it's like suddenly your lens for how you view the world changes.
Mhm.
So, um, Energy work plays out in a lot of different ways. People who are more on the side of being sensitive and open to their intuition, for those people, just a little bit of energy practices and they're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if you think about it, they're more in their right hemisphere. They're less upregulated. In fact, sometimes they can be bouncing a lot because of the sensitivity, right?
Okay. Okay.
So it's like getting to a place of steadiness and I can be me in the world. Um, I feel like my thoughts are really disjointed on this. So,
Oh no, you're fine. I find it very interesting. So I feel like that's kind of um my mentality, my mental state, where I'm typically very connected, very I have done a lot of work in the autonomic functioning of my body. So I have an autonomic neuropathy, and I have brought my body from that sympathetic into parasympathetic state. I cannot speak, but I do find myself at times, even throughout a healing journey, like for people who are listening in, if you're in the sympathetic state and you're recognizing, listening, oh, maybe I really do need to be in tune with my emotions and really figure this out, because thoughts are things are energy, everything is energy, that's all there is to it, per Albert Einstein. Match the frequency that you want to be, and it's not theory, it's quantum physics. Like, allow yourself to tap in. And not to say that throughout life that these roller coasters or these externals are not going to come into play and you're not going to go into that sympathetic nervous system state. Like, even if you've worked really hard to go from sympathetic to parasympathetic, you're flowing through life, something gets thrown at you, you may jolt back into that sympathetic state. You may be triggered, you may go into that fight or flight, freeze, fawn. I find myself occasionally, if I'm not balancing that divine feminine and masculine, I'm in that functional freeze state. So I think it really is about just being in tune and learning about nervous system regulation. First of all, I think at the root of it, and then recognizing that whether you like it or not, I feel a lot of people in my life who, over the latter 7 years of me doing this work, have gone from saying, Allie, you're spewing bullshit. Like, don't tell me that my emotions and my childhood are affecting my life. But now, 7 years later, these people are not only coming to me telling me, oh, you were right. And, I feel so much better and my life has changed and I've gotten off of all these medications. Or, you realize that there is more to this, and just being open, whether you're doing the work or not, just being open to the idea that Western medicine is not everything. And I've done, I don't know, at this point, maybe almost 100 podcast episodes, and however many guests I've had on. I love having guests on because they're all living proof of this, tapping into your energy, understanding how it plays into every little thing that you've ever been through. And you can process a trauma that happened as an infant or in the womb. Like you said, you remember in the last episode, Kathy was saying she remembered her twin brother even leaving the womb. You can process that trauma, or you can process the trauma that occurred an hour ago.
right,
Like, it doesn't matter. I feel that just being in tune is all you
right,
need to know.
right. So when you think about doing energy work, you could think about it in terms of, okay, I'm getting out of my head and more into my body. But
Mm-hmm.
the other thing to remember is we are energy, right? So the physical body is the densest form of your energy field. We all have our own energy field, and it's the part of us that drops in, created this human that is you, and condensed the energy to create this human. And your human is energy, and then it's flowing through you. That's the chakra system. That's why acupuncture works. That's the whole field of energy medicine, and Chinese medicine is all based on the fact that we have an energetic body that completely interfaces with our physical body and extends beyond the body. So your emotions are an energy body, your thoughts are an energy body. And so when you drop into the density of your physical body and you work more with the density of your physical body, the interface between all those different energy bodies becomes clearer, which ultimately connects you to the field of infinite intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that is the same thing, which, so for me, way back in the day, I started listening to Abraham Hicks, and all of that made total sense to me. You know, they're when they said the purpose of life is joy, I was like, wait a minute, I am really going in the wrong direction.
Not to pay bills and taxes. That's not the point of life.
Well, and it's not to like be the best at
Yeah,
everything. That's not the purpose of life, to
it really is
achieve.
joy.
Wait a minute. That was a total like paradigm shift for me. And totally reconnected me back to that little me that just wanted to climb trees and ride my bike and splash in the puddles. I'm like, "Oh, I get it now." But then when you work with their vibrational scale, which is amazing, that emotional
Mhm.
vibrational scale of
Oh, the
Abraham.
Hawkins scale, or Abraham.
Yes,
Yes,
I
yes.
have all my clients. I teach that with all of my clients, and how to work with, how to recognize the different vibrations and work with those different vibrations. That's energy work. So
Yes.
recognizing that that your body is energy,
Mm-hmm.
doing chakra clearings, acupuncture, qigong, tai chi, sound baths, tuning forks, all of that is working with the energy. And
Mm-hmm.
it's either upping your frequency, clearing blockages, opening flow, um, all of those
All the
things.
good things, all the
Yeah.
ascending things. I love that you just touched on so many topics. So in my recent 5-day psychic challenge, one of the days I talked about the auric body. So for those who are not familiar, Kathy was describing your auric field. We have 7 different layers that extend outwards, and if you are somebody who continuously does the work and vibrates at a very high core frequency, your aura can extend outwards of 9 feet in radius. So this is one of my favorite things to teach people, that not only do you carry your own energetic fields, your mind, body, spirit, and emotional fields, but walking into a room, a crowded room, and recognizing that your bubble and everyone else's bubble is intermingling. So when you're feeling other people's emotions too, so I always like to teach people how to protect their aura.
Yeah.
Of course, ground connects protect, so that you're not, these energy vampires are not sucking your auric field dry, and they're not leaving lasting imprints on your energetic blueprint. So if it's okay, I would love to describe the different auric field layers, if that's okay. So you have, and again, if you've ever seen the picture of, it looks like a tree trunk around a human. It's a very common picture of the auric field. So our first auric body, and they can be called auric bodies or auric fields. So the first auric body is the physical body. Like you said, that's our tangible 3D. This is just our vessel. Another one of my favorite things to share with people, you're literally renting this. This is like your rental car. So treat it good, treat it well, and listen to it, and you'll be able to heal. The second body is the etheric body. That's the immediate layer surrounding the body, and that's all about physical health and vitality. The third layer is your emotional body. Fourth is mental body, your thoughts and ideas. The fifth is the astral body. That's your dreams, your visions, your astral projections, what we're doing when we're sleeping, whether you like it or not. I always I like saying that because it's like, whether you like it or not, this is happening, whether you want to be a believer or not. And paying attention to your dreams. They're giving you messages of things that you need to work on emotionally, mentally, or physically. And then the causal body, which is the sixth body, that is karma and past lives. And then the seventh is the spirit body. That's that highest self, the subtle energies. And I think subtle is a key word, because that's what everything is. Everything is just subtle. We're not asking you to tap in and have the answers to all, to see, feel, hear, taste, and see everything, but to just understand that it's subtle. It's nothing. It's not going to scream at you. It might, if you attune yourself and you are vibing high enough, that you may very well see it, in the form of, I see the orbs you were talking about. So I see orbs. I see holographic forms of beings, and as if they are there, but they're like see-through. And I also, over the past few years, which nobody else seems to see in my world, is looking at birds or airplanes. I can see perfect spheres, like they're auric fields around.
Cool.
And as
Cool.
they like fly, the birds and the planes. So just being open to visualizing subtle energies. And if you've ever done a psychedelic, which I have not, I mean, I've done, marijuana is considered a psychedelic, but anything like LSD, ketamine, mushrooms, anything of macro dosing, will give you those same visuals. You can accomplish this via utilizing a substance, or on your own, just connecting to source. So I just wanted to take a moment to just to mention those, in case. And the Hawkins scale too, and the as you were talking about Abraham Hicks learning the different vibrational frequencies. In the beginning, you were talking about all those lower states, those lower vibrational states of when you're learning, like you were saying, the shame, or feeling less than, that sense of lack, shame, anger, guilt. All of those things are the destructive energies on the Hawkins scale, that lower vibrational energy. And then when you reach that 200 hertz, which is that neutrality, that's kind of where, like, okay, that non-dual aspect comes in, where you're not judging yourself, you're not judging everything. And then you start to raise your vibe higher and higher through, I don't, off the top of my head, it's love, joy, peace, bliss, enlightenment. And there's something to be said about, as spiritual beings, having this human experience, that all day long we can go back and forth between all of them, but it's a matter of recognizing those subtle energies and being able to tune your frequency back up high when you are down low,
So
and knowing it's a work in progress always.
couple of things I want to tag on. As you were describing those auric bodies or fields or layers, it's interesting because when you look at the diagram, it's drawn out as like layers, but obviously everything is interconnected. But
Mm-hmm.
it really got my attention that the quote unquote layer between emotional and your spiritual body was the mental body. Think about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, of
Mm-hmm.
course, it's like if things aren't clear in your mental field, then the emotion, you can't open to the emotion and the connection to your spirit. So I think I've always found that fascinating. And then when you look at Abraham's scale, the pivot point on that scale, and people who have worked with this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Others might need to go and look at the scale, but the pivot point is the word boredom. And the thing about Abraham's scale is the words reflect a frequency. They don't reflect a meaning that we would place on the word. It's just the best word that they could come up with for that frequency. And
Okay.
it's the frequency of boredom, which right under that is content. Right above that is contentment.
Mm.
So I find that really fascinating as the pivot point between those higher frequencies of contentment, positive expectation, optimism. Those are those higher ones. And then right under boredom comes in things like pessimism and disappointment. And that's where you start moving down. So, what I say to my clients is when you're in contentment, enjoy it. Notice if it starts to slip into boredom. And the meaning that you put on boredom will determine whether you go back up or whether you go down,
I love that.
right?
I love that
And
so
it's
much.
moment, it really is moment by moment. And says the achiever type here, we're not meant to be perfect with it. It's just the flow of life. And it's a way to kind of observe, where am I at right now? And another wonderful teaching that they have is, if you're way down in the bottom in shame, don't try to go from shame to joy. You can't jump that far. Go from shame to anger, and then go from anger to disappointment, and then go from disappointment to something better. You'll have more success that way. So
Yeah,
that's a
yes,
great part of that teaching as well.
I agree. I try to be, I think, an overachiever sometimes when I'm in those low, those moment by moment lower vibrational states. And I'm like, okay, spirit, please activate my highest timeline frequency now, please. And it's
Yes,
like now. And it's like, okay, but I still have to work through that. Like I still have
right,
to
right.
get
You can't
there.
really catapult up to.
Yes, yes, yes. There is quantum embodiment dreams and visions.
Although maybe some people can from time to time, and
Once in a while, yeah.
let's not say you can't.
Yeah.
That's not a definitive. And it was funny too, when you were talking and you started to describe the auras, you were like tapping your arm, like this is our
Oh
3D
yeah.
self. Well, this is also an energy practice, to tap on your body, all
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
and down your body,
Yeah.
because you enliven this 3D physical energy body by tapping all over it and
Oh yeah.
bouncing and shaking. I mean, bouncing is a big practice in Qigong, just
Mhm.
bouncing and shaking and brushing off the energy
Yes.
and
Yeah.
all of those. And then you had talked about energy protection. One
Mm.
of the things that I do, especially with people that I work with that are highly sensitive, which we can talk about in the next episode about the quantum journey for highly sensitive people.
Okay.
Um, but especially with people who are highly sensitive, I like to think of it as you're strengthening your aura rather than protecting, because I
I like
think
that. Yes. Yeah.
protecting puts us like, oh, I need to, like, oh no, I'm at the mercy of whatever, versus just, okay, let's just do these practices to like close in the little Swiss cheese holes in the aura and make it nice and solid little container for you, so they can have their energy and you have yours.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Yeah.
It's an empowering way to hold your frequency, to maintain your high frequency. I like
Yep.
I
Yep.
like that a lot. When I taught Tai Chi, and I taught mostly to seniors, 65 plus, for fall prevention. And I taught it for 5 years. And it was, we always had to do surveys. So the statistical analysis, right? Doing surveys every 8 weeks to see if they had fallen, how they feel about their sense of strength and balance. And I just remember this one woman once, we were doing open window. It's a practice of,
Yeah.
because every day we'd have to do step by step form.
Yeah.
And we're just practicing open window. And for those not familiar, it's literally you're pushing the energy, right? And you are just, Tai Chi is all about slow movement, and you're just watching your hand and you're following. And this woman said, I feel like when I'm doing the movements, I'm not thinking about anything but what I'm doing. And I remember I stopped the class and I was like, yes, success. Like that's what it's about. It's called meditation and movement. And a lot of these
Yeah.
energy practices, tapping, even acupuncture, it's opening those meridians. In the morning, I love to do sun salutation,
Yep.
just to move, just to wake up.
Right.
And like you said, the bouncing, a little trampoline I have, like just doing all these things to move that stagnant energy, especially first thing in the morning, I think
Right.
is important to wake yourself up.
Exactly, especially because as the energy moves and you clear, you're going to feel more energized. Your brain, whatever kind of fog is there from having slept,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the clouds just disperse.
Yeah.
It's so cool. The fog just kind of moves out. Whatever was, in fact, I've noticed that sometimes it's like when it moves out, it's like I didn't even know that was there because it was so
Yes.
subtle. So that it's really really good to do first thing in the morning. I do want to mention for those who are yogis but haven't done any of this other energy work, mudras are energy work.
Yes.
Those in the yoga world know what mudras are. That's working with your energy field. So I wanted to mention that.
I love it.
Um,
My favorite mudra, which I do before every podcast recording, is for the throat chakra, the and ham mantra. And this is your mudra, interlacing fingers
yep,
and
yep.
ham. Just
Or or if you want to be blending heart and solar plexus more so you feel
okay.
like in your power but also really tuned into your heart, drop it between heart and solar plexus.
Oh, I love
Super
it.
powerful. Um, breath work. You
Yes.
probably have done episodes on breath work, but I will tell you the most powerful breath work from my perspective, especially for people who have had trauma or are highly logical, is belly breathing. Breathing up from the earth, extending the belly, and then exhaling back down and pulling the belly to the spine. And just doing that over and over and over again. It gives you such a sense of rootedness and being in your body, and then you can decide from there. You just kind of check in with your body and ask what could use some more energy, and you breathe to that area. um, and
So
then of course doing the whole central channel is always wonderful because it connects you to your soul star and the earth,
oh
and
yeah.
just the flow of all of that energy that is always dropping in. I love to trace the toric field and
Mm-hmm.
just feel the toric field. I use it as a blessing exercise where as it's as it's showering, I start with blessing my current self, and then I let the energy bless all the aspects of me along my whole timeline in this lifetime.
I love
So
that.
I shower all those aspects of me. Then I shower all the aspects of me across time and space. And then I start showering my children and my husband and my siblings and my clients and my soul sisters. And it usually takes about 10 minutes to give everybody a nice energy
That's
shower.
beautiful though. That is what should be done by every single human every single day.
And then the planet, right?
Yes,
So,
I say sending out the love.
yep.
Gotta send the whole world healing vibes. I just did a world peace guided meditation on Wednesday. So needed. You were talking about belly breathing. So going back to even the ancient wisdoms of Chinese medicine will tell you that the Hara chakra, or the Hara center, is that womb space, that sacral chakra area, and that's where you want to breathe. I think a lot of people who are new to breath work, like, yeah, I'm taking breaths. No, you want to take not into the lungs. You want to breathe all the way into the belly space, and visualization is key. I loved how you described just feeling, and I'm sure visualizing the
Yes.
energy flowing through you. And I don't know about you, but when I'm doing this in the morning, I automatically, once I clear that fog, like you said, and it reminds me of like when you, because I wear glasses too, like when you finally clean off your glasses and you're like, oh, I'm literally living another life right now. Like I'm not behind my dirty lenses. So it's kind of like that. It's like really just like a, I don't know, just allowing yourself, let the energies flow. And then all of a sudden that clarity comes through and I start saying my prayers. And like I'll say a rosary out of nowhere. It just like starts coming through. And then I start seeing more light. I start feeling more energy. I start feeling more expansive and clear. And like very resilient, ready to start your day. And one other thing that you reminded me of, and I probably over talk about this, but it's a key point, and I think it's great. Jerry Seinfeld, who I always say he went to my high school. I graduated like a million years after him, but he is a meditator, and he has spoken many a times. He's a TM meditator, transcendental meditation, and he credits all of his writing, production, creativity, just all of it, directing, everything that he's done in life, he credits to meditation. Why? Because he understands what it means to be an open channel. And he describes it as when you wake up in the morning, and this is why talking about a morning practice being so important, when you wake up in the morning and you look at your sheets and you look at your bed, it's a mess, right? Like everything's all over the place. You might have blankets on the floor, pillows on the floor, or just noting like your hair is a mess, whatever it might be. Feeling in your body how you may feel disconnected, all of that. And he says that by meditating, we're astral traveling again, that auric body, the astral body, and we wake up and we're not truly in our body until we can put ourselves back into our body via either pranayama, the breathwork techniques, or via meditation. And he says like it just starts your day out like you got to kind of shake it off. You got to reinvigorate and start anew. So I always like to give that example of just like looking at your bed. What tomorrow morning, everyone, when you wake up after you're done listening to this, take a look at your bed in the morning. What does your bed look like? Does your bed look as chaotic as your brain? Do you need to rein it in and take it really can be a 10-minute thing, not even like you said, just taking some deep breaths, meditating, hands on heart on womb, focusing on the breath, and then just visualizing all your energy coming together for your highest timeline so that you can flow throughout your day.
So the last thing I want to add is so important to remember that your energy field, it is your spirit. Your spirit is not separate from you. You are your spirit, and your spirit is you. You've brought your spirit here to be a human, but it's not separate from you. So when you do the energy work and you start feeling that enlivening in your physicalness, it's like, oh, that's why people get the chills when they
Mm-hmm.
know they're being guided. They can feel it in their body. You are your spirit, and your spirit is you. And your spirit is always there, and it is your energy field. So
Yes, it's so
if you
true.
want to get to know your spirit, get to know your energy field.
Yeah, I just did a 40-day spirit I am daily meditation, and it teaches you how to discern consciousness from ego, really. And that's a really good key point. So thank you. I love this episode. I could talk for hours about energy. I'm sure you could too, and all the different key aspects. So I think the big takeaways from this one are to recognize that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. That we are made up of energy. Like I said, even it boggles my triple Aquarius brain when I think about the very fact that even you and I are tiny moving particles, and that's just how it is, and so it is. So remembering that really we are just infinite potential, and utilizing your energy and utilizing it to not only heal and ascend yourself, but to then be of service to others and all humanity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because then the service that you are offering is coming from your spirit, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful. Thank you. So thank you everybody for listening in. And we are going to move on to the last but not least final episode for you. Peace out and God bless.